Capricorn, and welcome to your full moon reading for the October Aries full moon, the harvest moon. So quite a month we've got ahead of us, and it starts with a bang and we'll finish with a bang. We've got full moon to kind of top and tail both ends of October, so I think you need to hold on to your hat because it's going to be quite a wild ride. Saturn has also just recently gone direct, your ruling planet, in Capricorn, and of course is coming off fresh from that square to Mars. So your ruling planet Saturn and Mars will be, that square will still be quite active at this full moon. But the key thing to say about it is, of course, that this happens across your 4th and 10th houses. So the moon in Aries will be in your 10th house, I think, of career, yes. And then sort of at the other end of the spectrum, we've got Libra, which is in your 4th house of family. So Sun in Libra will be here in your 4th house, and this is all about, your roots, where you live. It has to do with family ties, with things that you inherit from family. So whether this is sort of DNA based, or whether it's a talent or a skill that's kind of passed down in the family, or maybe even a personality trait. These kinds of things come to the fore. And then, of course, 10th house is all about career, fame, success, reputation, and honors. So it's your public face. It's where you celebrate kudos. It's where you get praise from bosses. It's where you become a boss, you get promoted, you become well known, etc., etc. So this cardinal lunar phase will be important for you being a cardinal sign. So let's get into your geomancy and just see what wants to come through. I'm just going to pop these here, I think. So put that over there. Full moon and sun. I'm just kind of changing things up a little bit with the readings. I like to sort of experiment to sort of try different methods of doing the readings. So do let me know how this has, whether it's worked for you or not. Okay, let's do the geomancy. So I guess you've probably been feeling more than a little frustrated, given that we've had that 2 sets of Mars Saturn square recently. So maybe you've been feeling a bit more irritable than usual, a little bit more curmudgeonly, or kind of just not quite yourself. Or maybe you've also felt a kind of a sense of frustration in not being able to move something forward. But we're going to look into that further. And that's, because this full moon happens in Aries, which is quite packed at the moment. We've got Chiron there, we've got Black Moon Lilith, we've got Mars. So lots and lots going on there. And of course, Capricorn is also quite busy. We've got Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn all in Capricorn. So quite an eventful time for you, I think, Gabbie. All right, let's... Okay, so let's do your cards. I won't be putting over all of these. You get so many repeats, and we really want to kind of hone in on the houses and planets that are associated with the full moon. Otherwise, it just becomes sort of too much information, I think. And don't forget too that I have done a more detailed extended video about the astrology of this full moon in the 2 weeks that follow. So check that out if you haven't already. It's in the membership section of my website. And if you aren't a member, then do think about subscribing, because it's free and it'll give you access to a lot of material that you don't get in the public domain. Okay, so let's start off with the full moon. So here in Aries, this is where the moon will be at the full moon. So this is looking very good, Capricorn. You've got Fortuna Minor as your geomantic figure for the Aries full moon. So this is air energy. This is the element of air, and this is all about getting support from others. So say, for example, you are a political candidate taking part in the US elections, and you need a nomination from somebody important, or you need backing from a donor that's going to really help your campaign, or you need to win a certain state. You need perhaps the governor or the people that are in that region to get behind you. Fortuna Minor is the geomantic figure for you then. So it's very much about a fortunate shift in circumstances. There's a change in the air for things are moving in a positive direction, but equally it can be about getting support from people that are in positions of power or higher ups. So could also be a promotion potentially here. Certainly praise, kudos coming your way, when it comes to career, fame and honors. And then the Sun in Libra here is pointing to the need for balance when it comes to home, family, roots, and where you live. So here we've got the Earth geomantic figure of Amisio. So this is really about transience. And, I have to say this figure has come up for almost every reading that I've done, for this particular full moon. So clearly there's a theme here, and I think it relates to the seasons. The fact that this is the harvest moon, it comes just after the equinox. The equinox is all about the sun crossing over a boundary, which is actually the equator. So the sun literally crosses from one hemisphere into the other, and this marks the change of the seasons. So I feel as though Amisio is very much about a transition happening for you, perhaps in the area of home and family. It could be that you're also feeling separated from loved ones, or maybe you are physically, separated from loved ones, perhaps due to people living at a distance from each other. It can also be about a potential breakup, like of a home. So, if there's divorce in the offing, or maybe you have moved away from your family home and you're kind of missing it a little bit. Say, for example, you've gone to college or to university for the first time. Maybe you're away from home and you're missing your creature comforts and your people kind of thing. It's that kind of energy. But we'll get into it a bit more and clarify with the Magpie Oracle trinkets in a little bit. So then let's look at Saturn itself. So Saturn is currently in Capricorn here in your first house. And interestingly, we've got the Earth element again. This is counted Conus, the south node of the moon. And I like it when this comes up at a full moon because it's very fitting. It shows the end of a cycle. So something is being released, something is ending, something is on its way out. So I kind of feel as though this has to do with that turn of direction of Saturn, which recently moved out of retrograde. So if you've been feeling out of sorts, over and above that Mars square to Capricorn, I feel as though it also has to do with the fact that Saturn's been retrograde, so it's not been working perhaps the way that it usually does. And if that's the case, then just know that things are shifting in a positive direction. So what else is kind of going on for you? Let's have a look at work. All right, so it looks to me as though over the next couple of weeks you could be seeing some kind of fresh start when it comes to work or health. Maybe something new introduced into your daily life. Maybe you've moved offices. Maybe you are starting a new job. Albus here is a blank sheet of paper. It's the element of air again. So interesting that we've got two air-based geomantic figures relating to work and career. This does suggest for me that there is either a lot of mental activity going on, a lot of communications backwards and forwards, or it can be negotiations for a contract, for example. I always think of Albus as being that blank sheet of paper, but it could actually be a contract, a written contract. Equally, it could be a job offer that you're waiting for, but definitely there's a shift happening when it comes to career and your workplace. So let's think about what else is happening in terms of aspects. So as I say, this full moon will come sort of off the back of that square between Mars and Saturn. Now, Saturn is currently traveling fairly close to Pluto, which is still retrograde in Capricorn, And it's now back in that area of the zodiac where it occupied around about January, February. So there's a lot of planetary aspects that are drawing our attention back to about 6 months ago, particularly to number one, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that we had on 10th of January. And now that is really starting to kind of bite, as because what's happened with Saturn is it hit that conjunction with Pluto. It then sort of continued on through Capricorn, ingressed into Aquarius at the equinox. So again, interesting, at the equinox we had the shift, and then I think about July it retrograded. So now it's been going back over the same part of Capricorn that it occupied just after its conjunction to Pluto, and now it's turned forward again. So there's almost like a completion of whatever that energy was that was set into motion as a result of that conjunction. So this is really about closing things out, about things manifesting that have been in the ether for a number of months. You've probably been feeling this, and you might now start to see signs, in the physical world. Now, these are likely to be structural changes, not always pleasant ones, I have to say, and that's going to go across the board, not just for you, but for everybody. This is about, the structure to the fabric of our lives. So banking, finances, governments, you name it. I think we're at a tipping point in terms of humanity and the planet and the way that we live. So this is big stuff. This is really kind of macrocosmic stuff. But let's see what's going on in the microcosm for you. So first of all, let's clarify that the moon and the sun. Nice. So it looks to me as though when it comes to that full moon in Aries, that you are on some level getting support from possibly a mentor who is almost like a mother figure to you, who feels maternal towards you, because this is the stork, which is I associate with kind of motherhood, but also with birthing. So it's possible that you're birthing something, in terms of your career. Maybe you'll kind of you've been working very hard at something and it's starting to pay off. So that could be, it could be something written, for example. It could be a book that you are thinking about publishing, or that you have recently published, and maybe you've had some help with it, for example. Let's see what's going on in the fifth house. Yes, so we've got Acquisitio in your fifth house of creativity. This is a fire-based geomantic figure, and fits quite well actually with Fortuna Minor. So this is about expansion and often about material gain. So this can be coming from a creative project, or some kind of side hustle that's maybe become a career focus for you. So maybe what used to be a hobby is now kind of front and center, becoming the main focus of your career. But Acquisitio does bode very well for this. It can be in the realm of something to do with children. It can be to do with sex, or creativity, the leisure or the arts, industries, hospitality, all of those good things. So this does look very, very positive. Equally, it's quite positive if you are looking for a new relationship. So let's see what's going on in the seventh house. Yes, 2 Jupiter-ruled geomantic figures. Laetitia, which is water, and then Acquisitio, which is fire. So this does look to me as though things are going to go very well when it comes to relationships. So if you are keen on either meeting somebody new that's going to be a keeper, or if you are thinking about taking a relationship to the next level of commitment, these figures bode very well. Laetitia is joy, it's happiness, it's all those feel-good, expansive emotions, and in the realm of relationships, what more could you ask for? And then Acquisitio, as I say, can be about financial gain, but it can also be about a kind of a positive expansion of horizons, maybe to do with love. So that's looking positive. But anyway, let's clarify Inicio in your 4th house. Yes, lovely, the sun. So I kind of feel as though when it comes to the sun in Libra here in your 4th house, even though there may have been some disappointment or sadness or loss, a sense of transience, maybe you've moved house recently, things are definitely set to improve in this arena with the sun here. The sun is very auspicious geomantic figure. I mean, the Norman symbol, doesn't matter what system you use actually, whether it's tarot, whether it is astrology, or whether it is you know, Lenormand, they all point to the sun as being about joy, success, happiness, you know, etc. So that's great. Let's have one for Counterdeconus. Okay, so this ending here in your 1st house is to do with burdens. So if you've been through a difficult patch recently, you know, possibly to do with family or a home or a property, this suggests that the cross that you've been carrying, you can drop in the near future. So at the end of this waning moon cycle, I think you'll be in a very different place. Okay, let's have one for Albus. So movement forward, this is the rider, which is all about messages, movement, momentum. So yes, I definitely feel as though there's a new start for you here when it comes to work, health, and, you know, things like your schedule, pets, that kind of thing. A fresh start, and I think it bodes well for you, certainly career-wise. Okay, and let's have one for the 7th house. Nice, the dog. So this is wonderful. This is all about soulmates and loyalty. So no wonder you're happy, Capricorn. This definitely bodes well if you are looking for love, a soulmate potentially coming in for you in the next 2 weeks. So, I mean, what better news could you get than that? And if you are already in a committed relationship, I do think that your relationship is kind of going to go to a new level where you're really going to be in tune with each other. You're going to feel that you want to maybe reaffirm your commitment to each other, but you'll be made aware of why you have this person in your life and why they're kind of special to you and vice versa. So that's lovely. I'm really pleased for you. Let's have one finally for the 5th house. Interesting. So we've got the child here. So whatever this acquisitio is, it's either going to fill you with a kind of childlike enthusiasm and joy, or it's something new that is starting, and you kind of taking baby steps towards the achievement of, you know, possibly some kind of creative project, or it could be that whatever this project is related to children, you know. So that looks very, very positive indeed. So overall, a very nice reading for you, Capricorn. I should point out as well that, you know, when it comes to the house of Aries, we've got quite a lot of planets going on there. So a real opportunity for you to do some healing, to do some teaching too, with Chiron in the 10th house. The moon will be making a conjunction to Chiron. So lots of opportunities, I think, you know, if you feel that, you know, you've maybe missed out in the past, in terms of career breaks and that kind of thing, then, you know, I think things will be very different this time. You'll feel a lot more supported, certainly, by bosses and people of consequence, shall we say, than maybe you have in the past. So that's fabulous news. Lovely reading. I'm so chuffed. So let me know in the comments if this is resonate. Oh, before we end this reading, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's have some parting advice for Capricorn. Some parting wisdom. Don't forget too that if you are a sun sign Capricorn, to check the reading for your rising sign, because you'll probably find that the house placements will be more correct. So a parting message for Capricorn for the new moon in Aries, please. so interesting. Almost every single card that I've had for this series of readings have all had blue in them. So through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. And I can certainly think of one person with Capricorn rising that this would definitely pertain to. But, you know, let's see what's in your 12th house. Interesting. So Amicio again. So it does seem as though through prayer and meditation, there's definitely something that is shifting, you know, possibly in your energetic field that's affecting people around you, your immediate environment, and also your family, your ties there. But equally, I think this is about healing the world, and so I think you have an important role to play in all of this, Capricorn, which doesn't surprise me with Fortuna Mine in your 10th house. So yes, quite a power ending to your reading. But yes, wishing you all the very best for the upcoming 2 weeks. Do let me know in the comments if this has resonated, how it's actually panned out for you, and I'll see you again in a fortnight for your new moon reading.